I ask myself a lot of questions when I decide to start a project, but for some reason I chose to overlook the most pertinent question to this build. Can I play the guitar? But since I played the violin, more or less, and one of the alternative tunings of the tenor guitar is the same as the violin, I figured, how hard could it be to completely design and print an instrument you don't play from scratch? The bulk of this project involved gluing together big blocks of plastic that were designed to specifically fit on my semi-small print bed. That was the easy part. The big roadblock right out of the gate was obtaining information or measurements about this instrument at all. And unlike other guitar builds that I've seen, there also didn't seem to be any tenor-specific necks I could buy to supplement the process. But I looked out and found this. A large paper schematic of an acoustic tenor guitar, which thankfully included fret measurements. So I guessed I was doing this the hard way. Probably because, with all the pieces spread out, this does kind of resemble a big Lego build, it did occur to me that it would have been clever to design this with modular capabilities, allowing for the ability to take it completely apart and easily replace different sections. But that would have been a bit too much for me to take on this time. I was struggling hard with the design process as it was. However, what I do wish I had done differently is the sections containing the electronics. While I made them so the backs were removable in order to install the electronics, what would have been smart was to make the tops also removable. That way, if the bridge or pickup needed to be replaced, I'd have the option to completely reprint the template to fit the new electronics. I also had to just guess on the placement of the pickup that I did have, so if I wasn't happy with the placement, well, I'm kind of stuck with it now unless I want to completely cut that top out. Yet another thing to remember for the next build. The electronics themselves didn't turn out to be as big of a problem as I anticipated, mostly because this was another case where I didn't really know how electric guitars worked. For the electric violin I printed, I just used a bridge pickup that was completely self-contained, but for this guitar I obtained a 4-string magnetic harness that, while mostly self-explanatory, did require me to contend with that pesky ground wire. Researching it, there appeared to be a lot of differing opinions about what to do with it, and in the end I opted to scrape off a bit of the coating underneath the bridge and clamp it down. But after testing, it would appear I'm going to have to bite the bullet and solder it somewhere else. There's definitely some buzzing happening when the tone is turned up. For the neck, I included 2 small carbon fiber tubes for reinforcement. Where I ran into trouble was attaching the head. Number 1, it was set at an angle, and therefore the tubes couldn't be inserted very far. Number 2, the angle also made it really hard to clamp. And number 3, because this was the thinnest part of the neck, the tubes took up enough space inside that there wasn't a lot of plastic to glue together, and the acrylic glue that I had been using didn't really want to stick to the carbon fiber tubes. After a little bit of testing, I found superglue to work the best for this particular joint, since it did stick to the carbon fiber tubes as long as I sanded off the shiny coating on the outside. As usual, only time will tell how long that joint will really hold under pressure. And not surprisingly, the fingerboard and frets were the most time-intensive. I was able to design slots for the frets right in the 3D software, which allowed me to be very precise. The only concern is that I did have to print this in pieces and glue it together, so that could potentially affect the fret precision, but hopefully not too much. Sometimes you gotta work with what you've got. I also sanded down the fingerboard so it felt smooth enough to the touch. Aesthetically, the sanding does slightly dull the color, but since it feels fine, I decided to leave well enough alone. But I'd like to experiment with various top coats at some point in the future. And finally, right in the home stretch, I very nearly had a heart attack because while I was clamping the fingerboard onto the neck, it cracked right at the first joint. The glue was already nearly set, so I had a very, very brief window to shove those pieces back together. I did have to sand over that area again once it dried, but crisis mostly averted. So, are you ready to hear if this thing actually works? Just be nice. I wasn't kidding when I said I don't play guitar. And trust me, you'll see. Oh, you'll see. All right. Here we go. I definitely have some cleanup left to do since I was quite liberal with the glue. And I'm sure there's things I'm going to need to fix, but I just want to see if this is playable at this point. So let's give it a shot. I don't have a guitar amp, but I do have a computer with Guitar Rig, what is it, 6, if anyone's interested. So all computer all the time here. Okay, make sure everything is doing right. Oop. I've got too many cables, Oh, let's see how. Oh, and let me record this. Let me start recording. It's already out of tune. All right, good enough. We're gonna hold this a little funny here. Hold this like a violinist holds their fake little guitar. Yeah, funnily enough, I didn't put any strap holders on here because I figure I could just make something and just thread it through the holes, but I haven't done that, so it's a little awkward. Sort of shaped like it should. Oh, I think I have to redo a fret. It seems to be a little short. It's not really, it's not working, but wait. That works on that side. So, I mean, the frets sound like they're in the right place, so that's something. Yay! I think I just have to one I might have to pull out, and yeah, it's a little shorter than the rest. Oops. So I'm just gonna noodle around because I don't play at all. So we're gonna make some sounds with this and just, I don't know, see what I can do for now. Oh boy, probably shouldn't do chords. I don't know. This is the one thing though, is that, you know, this is a violin and then, you know, this is like, it's not quite the same. I was hoping it would be. I guess mandolin would be closer probably. Also frets. Where are you supposed to put your finger? Is it, I'm kind of doing it right behind the fret, but you're not supposed to do it right on top, are you? Guitar people, I know you'll let me know. All right, let's try some different amps. This was just a real, like a clean amp or whatever. Let's have some fun. Ooh, and it's hard to see from here. It's on my TV. Okay, hold on. Bright lights, TV, and a big stand in the way. This is not the greatest setup. And just randomly click on something. Oh. Should I get it? Let me get a pick. Let's try a pick. All right, that's a very strange one. It's got some sort of harmonic thing going on. Oh, that is. All right. What do you think? Nope, I cannot. Still unimpressed. I'll be back to write some actual music with this later, but first we must attend to spooky season. The best season. What do you think? What do you think? Oh my god. Can you guys hear that?